This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is not America's Sweetheart, Davian.
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy Jane.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
This is Haddy, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted church for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, James J., and it's a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with the Sultan of Submission, Haddy!
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Yeah, just chilling today. Nothing too crazy. Should be heading over to jiu-jitsu in about an hour and get some training in.
Absolutely. And where can we see you next event-wise?
So next time you will see me is at the Dompolsky Hall in Ottawa, Ontario for Acclaim Pro Wrestling. And you can catch me as well at the Preston Event Center in Ottawa, Ontario at C4 Wrestling on May 24th.
All right. And where can we find you on your social media and your merchandise?
You can find me on every platform imaginable. On TikTok, X, Facebook, Instagram. The @ is at Haddy ENT, so that's HADDYENT. And you can go onto my bio on Instagram or on X and see my link tree where you'll find any of the latest shows that I'm on or any matches of mine that you would like to watch, or especially my Pro Wrestling Tee store, which you can find all my latest merchandise on there.
Perfect. And you can, you don't have to go looking for it. All of the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox.
Efficient. I love it.
Yes. All right. Let's get into it. You wrestle for Acclaimed Pro Wrestling and Battle War Pro Wrestling. Can you tell us about your relationship with those companies?
Yeah, I especially one that I would like to mention for sure is C4 Wrestling, and those three are the ones that I consistently go and work for. So you'll catch me at pretty much most of the Acclaimed and Battle War for sure. I'm just coming off a big match from last C4 with my tag partner Dexter Doom. We wrestled against Stu Grayson and Evil Uno in a C4 debut. So if everyone listening to this wants to catch that match, you can find it on IWTV.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. As far as my relationship goes, it's just thankful for the opportunities that I get, especially this early on in my career. Just I believe I'm like about a week away from approaching 1 year since I've made my debut. So wrestling has been pretty good so far to me.
Well, happy wrestling birthday.
Thank you.
You mentioned it. You wrestled Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, the Dark Order, maybe better known in Canada as the Super Smash Bros. What was that experience in that moment like wrestling, obviously very well known and respected names in business?
Are you allowed to swear on this?
Yeah.
It fucking hurt. They hit hard. They're tough competitors, but we were ready for that test, and I think we proved to everyone in Ottawa and then everyone seeing it on IWTV that we're the next biggest tag team to come out of Canada, and there's no question about it.
having, such a big match like that, is that a moment you take in the moment, or is that something that kind of sets in afterwards, like, wow, I did this?
Definitely sets in afterwards. I think approaching any big match, you kind of don't want to get too much in your head. Like, I like to get nervous before my matches just because it does uh it does display how much I care about what it is that I do. But in terms of like getting too much into it, I don't like to look at my accomplishments and like spend too much time thinking about it. Like the second something's over, that's it. Like I'll let the good from it speak for itself. You know what I mean? So it was just business as usual. Sure, like they could have put Motor City Machine Guns. They could have put any of the other great tag teams that are on the same list as some of the best tag teams of all time, next to Super Smash Bros. Or Dark Order. But they could have put anyone in front of us, and it would have been fair game.
Oh, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this isn't your first encounter with Evil Uno. You did wrestle him in a one-on-one match earlier in your career. What were some of the differences you saw in yourself um from the first match compared to the second to the this last one?
Um, I'll say I'll say from the first match, um, maybe I did get in a little bit too in my head from having a match with Evil Uno. I think uh, I think that was one of the better lessons that I've learned so far in wrestling, just because having someone of his caliber and his name and just the wealth of experience that he has compared to me, who was just very early in my career, I think I had to overcome being happy to be there and now focus on I want to kick his ass. So that's something I took into the second match, is that I wasn't gonna let that moment get too in my head. I'm there to kick ass, and that's all that matters.
And speaking of kicking ass, can you tell us about your tag team partner in Project 81,000, Dexter Doom?
Uh, my tag partner is probably the best tag partner you could ever ask for. He and I are symbiotic. We feed off each other. When I'm having an off day, he's picking me up. When he's having an off day, I'm picking him up. We're two guys that no one could have ever guessed to put them together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we both come from different paths. We're both at different points in our lives, but we're hungry. We're hungry, and all that matters for us is just putting in the work. All all we want to do is put in the work and show everyone that we're not ones to get overlooked. We are going to be regarded as one of the best tag teams to come out of Canada, and that's going to happen very soon.
What's a pet peeve about Dexter that you just don't understand?
And you're saying it's just in like public perception kind of thing?
Uh,
Like
some
what?
something that maybe you don't, something he does that maybe you personally don't understand.
Something that he does?
Yeah, a pet peeve.
I understand him completely. Like again, we're symbiotic. We're two peas in a pod. Like everything. I know what his next move is before he even has to tell me. We work together as a well-oiled machine. He is never keeping me guessing, and there's nothing that he does that I am not just sitting there in awe of what a great partner this guy is. And I'm telling you, like the rest of 2024, 2025, we're going to be out here collecting every single tag team titles all over the province of Quebec and Ontario.
Oh yeah. And I'm just curious to know, where does the name Project 81,000 come from?
So it's actually the name Project 8100.
8100,
And
my bad. Sorry.
yeah, no worries, no worries. But the uh, the concept of how we came together with this name was just honestly like it just shows the difference between us. Like we decided that we wanted to highlight the fact that like I'm a 2000s kid. He's from the 80s. He's from 1981, and putting us together is something that not a lot of people could have seen coming. But we're out here to take what's ours. So putting together the name was just really just highlighting both our differences, but then how well we work together.
Okay, I gotcha. Alright. Talk. Keeping up with names you've been in the ring with. You wrestled Dave Dalton. Who was?
Oh, that old prick. Oh, do we have to fucking talk about this guy? I'm so done with this guy. Honestly, shows up every show thinking that he runs the place, and I've just had enough of it. I don't know if you saw what we did at Acclaim last show, but this old bag of bones thought he could take on me and Doom 2-on-1. We didn't even want to wrestle this guy, okay? The match was over before it even started. We got DQ'd only because we wanted to show him mercy. We wanted to show him mercy, because if we had to take him for a 20-minute match, we could have. What do you want to know about this guy? Old bag of bones.
Well, it seems like he's maybe a little bit more obsessed with you guys rather than yous are with him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Trying to cling on to any kind of relevancy he can cling on to. And of course, he's going to take the two hottest acts in the business today alongside our coach MVP, who just so happens to have a ridiculously long history with Dave Dalton. That just goes to show how old Dave is, because Dave was probably like maybe like 80 when like MVP was like 20. So, fuck that guy. I'm just saying.
Alright.
Anyways, yeah. You're right. That's all I'm gonna say. You're right. He is clinging on to us.
Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. But during your career, you actually took 6 months off.
Yes, I did take 6 months off. Just before I had my debut, I I needed to take some time off for personal reasons, and I came back, picked it up like it was just yesterday. Nothing crazy happened. Just came back to what I belong in. You know what I mean? Six
Yeah.
months was nothing to me. So
Okay.
now all I'm focused on is tomorrow and everything that's coming through.
So there was never like a doubt like you were coming back to pro wrestling.
There was never a doubt in my mind.
Okay.
That time off to me was just preparing me for what's to come. I knew I was going to be able to be the man that I am today and be the wrestler that I am today.
Did having that time off, like before you even started, give you some perspective or clarity when you did actually come back?
Uh, it just established that I belong in this business. I'm made for this business. And I know I'm going to be one of the best wrestlers to ever come out of this region and one of the best wrestlers in the world. That mentality was what put me through 6 months, and I knew that I was going to be back. There wasn't a doubt in my mind.
Okay. I think it's a good time for Haddy's Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
Damn. All right. Well, something that happened pretty recently. I was in Philadelphia for WrestleMania week, and me, Junior Benito, Mike Roch, and who's the promoter for Interspecies Wrestling, for those who are listening. One of the best promotions to ever come out of Canada, or in the world, really. So check him out on IWTV. And McRae Martin, if I hadn't mentioned him. So we had all drove up to Philly, and we got this Airbnb just 20 to 30 minutes outside of the Philly downtown. And we got a bad vibe from it from the start, but honestly, it didn't matter. Like, we just needed a place to crash for the week. And then maybe 2 days before we're supposed to check out, I get a knock on the door from the local police department.
Oh no.
Who, it was like 10 a.m. in the morning, and they're like, "We're evicting you out of this building. The owner of the property doesn't have license or permit to operate, so we have 1 hour to get our stuff out." And we were just like, "What the fuck just happened here?" It was just we just had no clue what to do, so we just hit up the local Dunkin' Donuts and sat there and called Airbnb to see if they can fix us up, and they ended up giving us a place to stay. So it all worked out in the end, but that's probably one of the crazier things to happen. I don't get myself in too much trouble on the road. Like I go to shows, I do my job, and I do it better than anyone else, and then I pack up my things and I leave to the next town.
Well, luckily, you already have your bags ready to go, so you wasn't waiting
There you go. Yeah.
So that hour was like easy peasy.
Oh, didn't even take us 20 minutes to get our stuff out. Unfortunately for some people, they had taken residency there till probably September, and one of them was having like a little bit of a panic attack because all of her stuff is unpacked and she's got like a whole household of things to move. So an hour was definitely not enough time for this girl, but
Yeah,
if she ever listens to this, I hope everything worked out for you.
I hope so too. Well, saying, having, keeping out of trouble on the road. Um, you did you were feeding Alvin Turner Pringles during a road trip, no?
Yes, Alvin Turner has plentiful of stories to tell about his time on the road, but I was his designated Pringle feeder on a trip to Worcester for a festival. So, yeah, Alvin Turner is one interesting guy to travel with. I'll say that for the most part.
Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, but at that show, you got cream pied.
Look. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. I didn't get nothing of no sort of cream pie. I got hit in the face with a pie that just so happened to be filled with cream by that stupid little bitch Stan Styles. If he's listening to this, I'm gonna fuck him up one day and get my revenge on that. There's a receipt waiting for you, Stan.
Well, did it at least taste good?
No, I smelled like shit right after.
Ah, well, if it tasted good, then you already had your revenge.
Sure. Fuck
um,
Stan Styles.
Now, can you tell us about that time you went to the neighbor's house with Sexxy Eddy?
I went to what house with Sexy Eddy?
You went to the neighbor's house with Sexy Eddy. You were in a match and you decided to go
Oh
and
my god. Oh my god. Yeah. Um. Yeah, that was an interesting time. It was my first time wrestling for ISW, interspecies wrestling, and I get put in a match where I'm tagging with Sexy Eddy, and I tell Eddie like, how are we gonna beat these guys? And he's like, just follow my lead. So like a good little soldier I am, I followed my commander, and he took us all the way to someone's house, and thank goodness they didn't open the door because that would have been bad.
were they
Yeah.
home?
Nope, thank goodness they didn't open the door. Or maybe they were already outside in the audience. I'm not sure, but I mean, Eddie's a wild one. I'll say that. It was a fun time tagging with him, but boy, is he crazy.
That definitely leads me to my next question. What was it like teaming with Sexy Eddy? Obviously, a widely regarded wrestler.
Like, what a legend that guy is. Honestly, like what a legend. Like the the resume that he has is incredible, and just the respect that everyone has for this man is like speaks for just the kind of person that he is. So it was an absolute pleasure to work with him, and I look forward to working with him in the future. But we're working with him in the future, and he's a crazy, crazy fucking guy. So I look forward to that too.
Yeah, I would definitely say Sexxxy Eddy is an interesting individual, having spoken
Yeah,
to him.
for sure.
Shout out to Eddie, definitely a friend of the show. Love that
Shout out
guy.
Eddie. I love you, Eddie.
Right, you mentioned attending WrestleMania weekend in Philly. Were you actually at WrestleMania?
Yeah, I went to WrestleMania Night 1. It was probably one of the craziest wrestling events I've ever been to. As a longtime fan, obviously, just sitting there and taking in the atmosphere from honestly, the nosebleeds. We were like, I want to say the one row behind the last one, or one row in front of the last one.
Wow.
So yeah, talk about starting from the top and trying to work your way down, because I know one day I'm going to be in the main event of WrestleMania. It's just a matter of time, but I'm working my way down. So I was there to take in the vibe, take in the atmosphere, and know that that's going to be me there one day.
Does, being at literally the biggest show pro wrestling has to offer give you any perspective on your pro wrestling career?
Uh, just established how badly I want to be there. I mean, it reinstated in my mind that this is the top of the industry. There's nothing bigger than this, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it there.
Okay. Now, you are currently a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu.
That's correct.
Can you
You
tell
know
us?
what that means? You know what that means when I have a purple belt?
You're one away from black, I want to say.
No. It means I can kick anyone's fucking ass. Anyone that steps in that ring with me aren't prepared for what I have to bring. 10 years of grappling experience, which they could never scratch the surface of the experience that I've had. None of these guys can touch me in that ring. I promise that. But yes, I'm a purple belt in Jiu-Jitsu. I've been practicing for about, I want to say 10 years, about half of it on the competitive scene. And right now my attention is focused on wrestling, so not much competition going on for me at the moment.
What necessarily drew you to Brazilian Jiu Jitsu? Because there are obviously, a lot of different disciplines.
Um, well, I mean, growing up, being such a big fight fan, I was obviously a big UFC fan, still is. So for me, that was one thing that influenced me. But besides that, too, honestly, like the biggest reason is my brother also competes and trains in jiu-jitsu. So uh, it just gave me an avenue to kind of like bond with him and do something cool together. But honestly, if I look back at it, like the seed was planted in my mind once I saw Daniel Bryan wrestle.
Hmm.
And I'm like, whatever style that he's doing right now, I want to know how to do it. So I found a local jiu-jitsu school. My brother and I signed up, and then the rest is history.
How, um, how much longer do you have to go to get your next belt?
Honestly, it's not like a track progress for where I train at. It's mostly just like it's just like when you're ready for that next step, you'll be told and you'll be awarded for that. So yeah, it just I try not to think about that too much. Just the belts don't mean nothing. It's the amount of time that you put on the mats and the amount of hard work that you put. And if you just keep doing it, the belts will come. I always say this to people who start out doing jiu-jitsu, like a lot of white belts get discouraged by the fact that like they don't see progress. But I'm like, man, like you're making progress every time you show up to the gym. Like it doesn't matter if you get your ass whooped or you're whooping someone's ass. It's just you're learning either way. You're getting better from both ways. So it's just being persistent, and eventually you'll be rewarded for it.
How long did it take you to get the purple belt?
Um, So there were like blocks of time where I was inactive, again due to personal reasons and whatnot. So I believe it took me about like 6 years or so to get from white belt to purple belt.
Okay. And you said that you competed, you were competitive in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Not just learning, but actually putting it into practice.
It's definitely a nerve-wracking experience because you're putting to test everything that you've learned up until that moment. And I've went and competed around the all like the major tournaments in the provincial scene. I've competed at provincial championships and medaled. It's just treating every single one with the most effort you can possibly give, and then being okay with the result because if it goes your way or if it doesn't, it's just on to the next is what we say. So just do your best and then take the results and then go do with that as you may.
Okay. And how did Jiu-Jitsu help you in your pro wrestling career? And in any way, has it hindered your wrestling career?
It hasn't hindered me one bit. If anything, it's just made me a bigger threat to anyone in that ring. I bring a style that no one in this region can match. I bring a style that's real, it's raw, it's gritty, and it hurts. And it has to hurt. This is a fight, and no one is prepared to fight me.
Okay. Um. Now, could you tell us what the meaning or significance of your chest tattoo has?
The chest tattoo is an Arabic word for faith.
Faith.
So in Arabic, it means iman.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is does that have meaning to you that you could share with us?
Uh, in terms of meaning, I'm just a very faithful person. I'm I'm very proud of my culture and my heritage and my background. So that's just what it is. It's just wearing my heart on my sleeve kind of thing, you know?
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
You have any more tattoos?
No, that's just my one and only. Yeah, not a big tattoo guy after the first one. I settled with this one and then I called it.
Wasn't fan of the process.
No, just I don't know. I'm just tattoos aren't for me. I got it and I was like, okay, I'm good with this and that's it.
Oh no.
I don't know, maybe one day I pull a Cody Rhodes and get a neck tattoo. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe that will get me the WWE championship.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Now here on Wrestling Wit, we like to say that everybody is nerdy about something. Everybody geeks out or fanboys for something. Um, what does Haddy geek out for, fanboy for?
Ah man, I really don't fanboy for much. Gosh, that's a hard one. I really don't fanboy for much. Honestly, it's when I see people from my community doing good stuff. If uh, if I see another Arab content creator, if I see another Arab athlete or an Arab singer or anything of my people, like there's a there's a sense of fanboy that happens for sure. I'm proud of my community and what we're able to accomplish on in every industry. You know what I mean? So I support I support a lot of that, and that stuff definitely brings a fanboy out of me.
Okay, so not a comic book, anime fan, etc.
No, not at all. Not at all. No disrespect to the people who obviously spend all their time doing that because there's obviously nothing better to do, right? But yeah, for me, my obsession is wrestling. what I fanboy for is wrestling. All I care about is wrestling. So that's it. What it is.
Now, anybody that's listened to the show knows that we've had guests that have had maybe some paranormal or extraterrestrial encounters in the past. Have you ever had an extraterrestrial or paranormal encounter?
Uh, I mean, have you seen what Dave Dalton looks like? That guy kind of looks extraterrestrial, if you tell me.
Dave
Fuck's
Dalton
sakes.
does not
But
count.
I don't know, man. This guy looks pretty fucking extraterrestrial to me. But yeah, the only thing that's nah. I mean, Dave can get it. That's all I care about. So no, I've never encountered anything but a Dave Dalton.
Okay. Um, can you tell us about that time you almost burned the house down making eggs?
Listen. I didn't almost burn the house down, okay? A little smoke came up. The fire alarm went off. It wasn't anything too crazy. I was sleep deprived. I was hungry. It was like 4 a.m. in the morning. So I'm trying to make breakfast, right? But we managed to make everything work. It was good eggs, that'll say.
So you did not burn the eggs.
I did. I did. I did.
Can I
Yeah.
ask what kind of went wrong with making the eggs that day?
I mean, like, I had about an hour to get everything sorted out before I start beginning my fast. And for those who are listening to this, um, I observed the month of Ramadan,
Okay.
and what Ramadan is. It's a 30-day or 31-day fast where we abstain from water and food from sunrise to sunset. And I happen to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, and I got about an hour until my fast begins. So I'm like rushing in the kitchen. I'm trying to put things together, and I got to eat like a family's worth of food as much as in like as much time as possible before I start my fast, just because I got a whole day of training. Like I don't know, maybe everyone else will make an excuse for it, but I will never make an excuse. Like water, food, none of that matters to me. Like I'll go to training, I'll go do my regular stuff. Some people will make an excuse out of it and be lazy, but that's just not me, and that's just not the way I've been brought up. So uh, I had to make sure I got the proper nutrition in before I go on with my day. And you go put a couple toast in the toaster, and all of a sudden you forget that the eggs are on the oven. So what am I supposed to do about that? It's not my fault.
I gotcha. I
Yeah.
imagine that it's, incredibly difficult to, be fasting when you have to be so physical. A big part of pro wrestling is, what you're eating, calorie intake, and all of that. And when you're not, necessarily taking that, I can imagine that it's challenging, no?
For sure, it's a challenge. I will never say that it's an easy thing to do, but I just have to take into the perspective that I'm privileged and I'm lucky to be living where I'm living, uh, provided with the luxuries that I'm provided. Like having to abstain from water and food from sunrise to sunset and then go wrestle is probably like the easier things on the scale compared to like other possibly like stressful things that I could do to myself. So it's a privilege, and I knew the second that it was time for me to break my fast, I knew that I was gonna have food. I knew that I was gonna have the money to go and buy food if I didn't have it in front of me. So there was nothing. There was nothing about it that was too damning to me. It was too stressful to me. It wasn't easy, but I did it.
All right. Well, let's get into the colossal question. Let's say that they're making a movie about you, a big blockbuster, big producers, unlimited budget. Every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first three songs on your movie soundtrack?
Oh, I love this question. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up some music real quick just because
Yeah,
off the top of my mind I will not be able to because there's way too many music.
pull up that Spotify.
Um. Oh yeah. Um. Ooh. Okay. So we were saying three.
Three, yes. I mean, if you
Okay.
want to say more, you can. I just limit it to three.
No, three. Three is perfect for me. All right. So we'll do "Sicko Mode" by Travis Scott.
Okay,
We'll do "Going Bad" by Meek Mill and Drake,
okay,
and we'll do "Middle Child" by J. Cole.
okay.
Yeah,
Solid three picks right there.
right there.
Now that we have the soundtrack down, everybody knows you get the soundtrack first, then you write the script, and then you go to casting. Who plays Haddy? And you can't say yourself because you are legally obligated to make a Stanley-esque cameo.
No one looks as good as me, and there's possibly no one that could probably play me in a movie. But man, if I had to think, one of my favorite actors is an Egyptian actor named Rami Youssef. So I'm a big fan of his acting, and I think he would probably have a better chance of playing me in a movie than any other soulless, stuck-up little snob that's in Hollywood. So I'll say him, Rami Youssef.
Okay. Now, every movie has a supporting cast. Who would be three people significant to you and your story that would be in your movie, and who would be playing them?
Ooh, but who would be playing them might be a difficult thing. But I can name you three people who are significant enough for me to name
Yeah, absolutely.
for to tell my story. I'll keep it to wrestling because that's probably the most interesting part. But the top three would be, of course, my tag team partner, the best tag team partner of all time, Dexter Doom. Uh, in no particular order, but second on the list, Jason XL.
Okay.
Everyone and their mothers, and their fathers, and their grandparents, everyone should know who Jason XL is. That's the fucking man right there. Hardest working person I've ever seen in wrestling. There's no doubt about it. He's significant to me and my wrestling journey. And third on the list is for sure Alvin Turner. Alvin Turner, he and I have been through much, so he's definitely a big focal point in my wrestling career, and I definitely have him in my supporting cast.
A lot of Pringles.
A lot of Pringles, for sure. I think half the movie is just gonna be me feeding him Pringles, you know?
um, and you would like to leave it up to casting rather than casting them yourself.
Oh yeah, they can cast themselves, honestly. I could I couldn't even sit here and name. I don't know, like maybe Aaron Paul could play Jason XL. I don't know. They're
Okay, I
both
like
bald.
that.
Uh, uh, oh, Johnny Depp plays Alvin Turner.
Okay.
Oh, 1000%. Oh, that's so easy. Um, I'm trying to think who. I don't know. For Doom, that's an interesting one. I can't really think of any name on my head, but maybe he could. I'll let him choose whoever he wants. You should have him on and ask him that.
Sure. Well, I mean, either way, we still have an amazing cast already lined up. It's
Yeah,
definitely
Johnny
sound.
Depp, Aaron Paul, that's incredible.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He's gonna win
So
Emmys.
it's already sounding like a blockbuster, and you could
Yeah.
pre-order the tickets now.
Yeah.
All right. Now you are a Canadian from Canada, so I do have two Canadian exclusive questions for you.
Shoot me.
The first one being, is um Canada's greatest national treasure Ryan Reynolds?
No. I really don't care about Ryan Reynolds. He would have been on my list for sure if he bought the Senators, but it didn't work out too much for this guy, so he's not in my peripherals anymore. I don't really care about that guy. If we want to talk about national treasures in Canada, oh man, can you get any bigger than Drake? Drake is probably the most like historic artist to come out of Canada, so I don't know. I'd say, isn't he a national treasure? Wouldn't you agree?
I'd say Drake is pretty iconic, but
Yeah,
but keep in mind I am not a Canadian from Canada, so I do not have a say.
that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
The second question is poutine. Where is the best place to get it?
I'm not a big poutine guy, but like I can't say one particular place. But if you find like a chip wagon on like some dingy street and the dude's sweating bullets inside of it, you'll probably get some good poutine. I would say just go to like whatever big white truck is on a street near you and just go and order yourself a nice big old batch of cholesterol.
But if they offer you candy, that's a red flag.
No, take the candy. Look a nice guy. Maybe he wants to show you his comic book collection.
We do not condone these actions.
Do it.
On to a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
Um, to be fair, like it's probably not one of the worst things you can put on pizza. So I'm not like passionate about this. Honestly, if you put anchovies, I think you're disgusting. But pineapple is not too bad. I mean, it's like the salty sweet kind of thing. So I mean, like the basic tomato sauce, like that's a fruit. Anyone who complains about it can go fuck themselves.
So you are more pro pineapple than anti.
I'm pro doing whatever makes you happy. If pineapple feeds gluttonous, uh, your gluttonous temptations, go ahead, do it. But if you eat anchovies, I don't want to be anywhere near you.
Do whatever makes you happy, unless there's anchovies on it.
Unless there's anchovies, for sure.
What's your spirit Pokemon?
My spirit Pokemon?
Yes.
I mean, I know nothing about Pokemon. Yeah, you're the wrong guy. What is like the strongest Pokemon?
Depending on who you ask, there's like God tier Pokemon. I can't necessarily name them off the top of my head, but there's personal favorite Mewtwo.
I'll take whatever the strongest one is. Or if I can make myself a Pokemon, that's the strongest one. That's all I gotta say about that.
And now we love the late great Tracy Smothers on the show. Do you know the acronym for Thug? THUG.
No, I don't. I didn't even know it stood for anything.
T is for terrible, H is for hell, U is for ugly, and G is for jail. 'Cause a Doug can't spell.
I love that.
Yes, we love the late great Tracy Smothers. We're trying to keep the memory alive.
That's awesome.
Weirdest question you'll be asked on a wrestling interview, hopefully. Would you ever consider wrestling a rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual physical rock.
No. I think that's all I gotta say about that. No.
Alright.
Would I wrestle The Rock? For sure. That guy's probably like pushing 100 at this point too. So it might be an easy challenge for me. Fuck The Rock.
Well, just for context, there was a wrestler named Psycho Mike that indeed wrestled A-Rock for over 15 minutes in a Tungsten Man match. That's an Arn Man match that lasts for 2 weeks.
He really did this?
Yes.
Where was this?
Oh, it was for a gimmick promotion called Backyard Pro.
That's awesome.
I could
Yeah, Psycho Mike is the GOAT. This guy's the best.
Oh,
If
yeah.
everyone listening to this, like, make sure you tune into Mystery Wrestling. Because if you go on their Patreon and subscribe, and you'll be able to see all their back catalog and go back and watch all the absolutely genius stuff that Psycho Mike's done. So do yourself a favor.
I could send you the match if you'd like as well.
I would appreciate that. I'll definitely take a look at it after.
And I will send it to you. Alright, on a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Signed. Main event of WrestleMania. That's where I see myself in 5 years.
And what is a match people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what you are all about?
They absolutely need to go on IWTV, subscribe, pay the fee, go back and watch C4 Tremors, and see Project 8100 versus Super Smash Bros. Versus Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. That match right there, they gotta go and watch that for sure.
Is there something we could find on YouTube, perhaps?
On YouTube. Oof. For them, you got me stumped right there. I don't know. Honestly, like, if you want to see me wrestle, you gotta pay for it. That's all I'll say about that. There's no free shit that's passed around here. If you see my matches on YouTube, that means someone's gotta have paid me for it, or you gotta pay me for it, because no one's gonna be seeing my stuff for free.
Okay, then after this interview, we recommend you signing up for IWTV if you already haven't already, to watch the match he just recommended. If you haven't seen it, want to see it, want to re-see it after this interview.
Yeah, watch it 5 times over, and then watch it another 5 times.
And since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is our speed round, our bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
Sure.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Roman Reigns.
Worst wrestler.
Oh, I almost said a bad name right there. Hulk Hogan.
You're main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
Sami Zayn.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
John Cena.
Which one?
You can't see me. Like the championship or whatever it is.
Okay.
The one that he comes out to right now.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is
Essential.
we would have also accepted tastes great on toast.
Nice.
Squash, fruit or vegetable?
Oh, said fruit. It's got seeds. I can't believe that's even a question. Whoever debates that is a moron.
You would be surprised at how many people
Morons.
wrong.
Be ashamed of yourselves.
New Japan Pro Wrestler Taichi, his ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
Cover as much as you can. No one wants to see your stinky ass.
Okay, so full coverage.
Full coverage.
And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
No. I don't think I've ever had a conversation about Darby Allin to begin with, but definitely not at a supermarket and definitely not about Darby Allin.
And that is the correct answer.
What if I said I did? Has anyone said they did?
Yes, we've had people on the show that have had conversations about Darby Allin.
Get a life.
Well, in one scenario, he was in the supermarket with Darby Allin, so a conversation was kind of unavoidable.
Yeah, that's a valid reason. So,
Yeah.
okay. That guy's not an idiot.
That will conclude this interview. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And once again, where can we find you on social media?
Every single platform, X, TikTok, Instagram, at Haddy, E-N-T, Haddyent. I'm sure you'll probably put my links in the description.
Yes.
All right, cool. Thank you very much.
And we can find merchandise on Pro Wrestling Tees, correct?
Absolutely. You'll find everything in my link tree, link in bio for every single one of my social medias. You'll be able to go and find where I'm at next, any matches you should watch, and as well my Pro Wrestling Tees store where you can buy all my merchandise.
And you don't have to type it into your Google machine. All of the links to all his social media and merchandise.
Efficiency. I'm making things easy for you guys.
Yeah.
All you got to do is click. Do it.
A new tab will appear on whatever device you are on. You have no excuse. Buy a damn shirt.
There you go.
Of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment. But on YouTube and Castbox, this was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us tomorrow as we interview Stanislaw van de Brandwick. And join us every Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews. Follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on X, Thread, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Alright, when I say wrestling with, you say entertainment, okay?
Alright.
For our special guest, Haddy, Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment!
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.